Today, we're here to decide who's the biggest menace to children everywhere. In the red corner, we have the toilet terror himself, Quagmire.
I'll be out in a minute.
I really need to go.
She said she'll be out in a minute.
In the blue corner, we have the septuagenarian defender, Herbert.
Hey, I just want to talk to you. Why don't you come over to my place for a glass of wine and we can go in the back room and play Crazy Snakes?
Start the count, because we're about to find out which one of these two perverts is the biggest PDF file in Quahog. Starting with a head-to-head competition on who's the bigger creep with the Griffin kids. She might be 18 now, but back when Meg was still a minor, Quagmire was already making some wildly inappropriate moves, like that time Meg had a sleepover at Cleveland's house.
I remember his dad dropped him off at school in it one time when he was a freshman. My Aunt Sheila lives in Hartford.
Damn it, you guys are boring the crap out of me. You know what I'm gonna do? Rent a dirty movie. This is ridiculous.
He just breaks into someone's house to creep on a bunch of teenage girls. That's apparently just a normal weekend for him, too. That's one count for Quagmire. At least Herbert has the decency to spy on Chris from outside the house.
Yeah!
This thirsty old man can barely walk, but he lugged the ladder all the way to Chris's window just to get a peek. Amazing what you can do for just a sip of water. To be fair, sometimes he doesn't even need a ladder. He just hides in their bushes.
Is for the only one.
Although, once again, to be fair, I shouldn't give Quagmire too much grief for breaking in. Herbert's done that before as well. That's 3 counts already. Quagmire has some catching up to do. And he's gonna do just that, because this creep might as well live in the Griffin house with how much perving he does. He can't even use the bathroom with this guy around. Quagmire's not just gonna break in, too. He's gonna break in there with a camera and studio equipment. Like in the episode Brian Sings and Swings, Meg pretends she's a lesbian to make some friends, and Lois decides to snap her out of it by showing her what a real lesbian looks like, apparently. And guess who's there watching and recording the whole time? Except for Chris, of course.
Chris, I'm all out of digital audio tape. Oh, he's gone. Hey, can I get you guys to sign these release forms?
That's 3 for 3 now. How does Herbert respond? Well, unlike Quagmire, who pretty much exclusively has to break into people's homes to creep on Meg, Herbert was once invited into the Griffin's home to watch the kids.
So it would only be till Monday, and we could pay you for it.
I mean, you've spent time watching children, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have.
Wonderful.
Do they not know how much of a freak this guy is? Just look at the ground rules he sets for the kids.
No cussing and only a half hour of radio and then it's off to bed. And don't you mouth off to me or I'm gonna slap you right in your
I don't think babysitters are supposed to do that. He spends the whole time trying to put Chris in a compromising position.
Y'all know what day it is? Bath day.
Oh, I don't want to take a bath.
It's bath day for me. Know anybody with a pair of strong young hands to help me in and out of the tub? Rats!
When that doesn't work, he decides to read Chris the most disturbing bedtime story about how the things that seemed the most dangerous turned out to be the most fun. Chris might be an idiot, but even he could tell this was sus as all hell.
Are you a
Herbert is undoubtedly a freak, but there is one line he has not crossed, shockingly. One thing he has not done. He has never actually gotten physical with Chris without his consent. Can't say the same thing about Quagmire.
Didn't mean to wake you.
That is just nasty. I'd hate to sound like I'm picking favorites here, but at least Herbert never brought his stinky old man foot anywhere near Chris. Doesn't mean he hasn't tried, though. In the episode Crisscross, Chris runs away from home. And where does he go to stay? With the old pervert who lives down the street. As you can imagine, Herbert is over the moon with joy and wastes no time making his move.
I'm not really tired yet.
You had those 3 cups of NyQuil. You'll be down soon enough.
Good night, Mr. Herbert.
Sweet dreams, Chris.
He essentially drugs the kid, and as the night wears on, he inches closer and closer to Chris's bed. Luckily for the young man, he's got an unintentional defense mechanism.
You really know how to waste a Cialis, don't you?
The moment either Chris or Meg get any alone time with these perverts, they try to do the most messed up things, like the time Meg needed Quagmire's help dealing with a bully. She goes to meet Glenn, and just look where she finds the man.
Sounds like you have a pretty big problem, Meg.
What are you doing in here?
This is my base of operations.
The girls' gym class will be in the showers in 20 minutes.
Thank you, Shirley.
His base of operations is in a high school girl's bathroom, which isn't just disgusting, that's illegal. Got 1 count right off the bat for that one. Quagmire decides to train Meg and prepare to take down her bully, but since this is Quagmire, he can't help but do something vomit-inducing.
In order to get you into fighting shape, drink this glass of raw eggs.
I don't see any yolks.
Just drink it.
You know what that is? It ain't a glass of milk. Obviously getting a count for that one. Herbert's always trying to get Chris to ingest something something dubious as well, and it's usually a popsicle in his cellar, which takes us all the way back to the very first time they ever met, the episode Chris started his paper route. First, he tried to get Chris to reach in his robe for a nice tip.
That's a nice muscly throwing arm you got there. Got a nice tip for you right here in my pocket. Why don't you reach in there and fish it out for yourself?
I don't collect till the end of the month. I'll see you tomorrow.
Next, he invited the kid over to his house for a nice, refreshing popsicle.
You like popsicles? Come on down to the cellar. I got a whole freezer full of popsicles.
No thanks. I gotta get going. Bye.
Get your fat ass back here.
We all know what was going to happen to Chris if he went into that cellar, and just like that, they're tied again. You know what I think? It's about time we move on from the Griffin kids and talk about all the other unsuspecting victims of these freckin' perverts, like Connie D'Amico, Meg's bully. She was especially nasty to Meg in one episode, so Lois sent someone over to traumatize her.
Hey there, sweetie. How old are you?
16.
18.
Mom!
Giggity, giggity, giggity.
Even his neighbors know he doesn't draw the line at kids. Well, neither does Herbert. And he's always willing to wait for the perfect opportunity to strike, like a church fire, for example.
Let's get out of here, boys.
And of course, we can't forget that time he tried to keep a bunch of kids safe in his basement.
Children, run! Everybody into my safety basement! Oh, I'm hurt, kids! Don't eat those popsicles till I get down there!
Okay, that's pretty messed up. What on earth could Quagmire possibly do to rival that? Well, how about the time he stumbled upon a teenager tied up in a bathroom?
Dear Diary, jackpot.
I was gonna ask what on earth he was doing in that bathroom in the first place, but as we've established, that's his base of operations. With all this perving, one can't help but wonder, how on earth are these two still free men? Well, it turns out they both gotten in trouble with the law for doing inappropriate things to children. Quagmire once got arrested for sleeping with a high school girl.
Sorry to bother you. Did you have sex with this underage girl?
I don't want to go to jail, but I really want to take credit.
You're under arrest for statutory.
Let me just send the pictures I took of her last night to all my friends.
Oh, yeah! Boom! We've got all the awesome evidence we need.
He only narrowly escapes prison time because his mother does the judge a favor in exchange for leniency. Herbert wasn't so lucky, though. His legal trouble was more international. It was World War II. He was in Germany, and he found himself behind enemy lines.
Most of the surviving American pilots were taken to POW camps. They thought I was gay, so I was taken to a concentration camp.
Calling it legal trouble is a bit of a stretch, but his unique proclivities got him locked up in a concentration camp. Definitely got it worse than Quagmire. But hey, at least he escaped the camp. What about something that follows you for life, like being put on the Defender's Registry? Well, it turns out Quagmire's already on there, and he admitted it.
We have a family emergency. We really need you to take the kids for just a couple days.
In accordance with Megan's law, I'm obligated to inform you that, that's fine. I'll take the kids.
Oh, thanks.
In case you didn't know, Megan's Law is a federal law that prevents children from coming into contact with people like Quagmire who have been convicted of crimes against children. A law like that has Herbert written all over it, but he's not on the registry, and apparently he avoided it by skipping town. In the episode Family Guy Through the Years, we see earlier versions of the show set during the 50s, 60s, and 70s respectively, and that's where we learn how the man known as Herbert came to be.
I just moved in down the block. My name's Herbert. If you see news reports about a Roy Mitchell who was accused of all sorts of nonsense, it's got nothing to do with me. I'm Herbert.
Now, before you say it's not canon and should be ignored, it turns out Roy Mitchell was actually foreshadowed a few seasons earlier.
My Uncle Roy shared a beer with me. I drank it, and I was so excited I fell asleep. When I woke up, my pants were off. Turns out we weren't even related.
Looks like Peter was a victim long before Herbert set his eyes on Chris. Guess that's 2 more counts for both Glenn and Herbert. Okay, I haven't been entirely honest with you. When it comes to perving on kids, Quagmire never stood a chance against Herbert. He's the real OG. Ugh. And I'm gonna show you why they call this man Herbert the pervert, but first, one more count for Quagmire. What'll it be? Well, it just might be the creepiest one so far for old Glenn, and it went down to the episode Bonnie Gave Birth.
Oh, Bonnie, I'm so happy for you.
Here's your baby. She's beautiful. Isn't she, sweetheart?
It's hard to believe she's already 18.
Sizing up a newborn baby is, Now back to the compilation of Herbert just being the worst person ever. There's the time the Griffin's house caught fire and someone needed to save Chris.
Oh my God, Chris is still in there. Somebody save Chris.
You know what? He's earned that.
They all just watched him leave, huh? Clearly he took that as permission, because later in the episode he does it again.
Now, that one seemed less earned.
This isn't the only brazen act of Chris snapping either. One time he just walks in fully armed. Don't you think for a second that Chris is the only teenage boy on his radar. In fact, in the episode The Tan Aquatic with Steve Zizzo, a weird ass name, but I'll allow it, Herbert dumps Chris for a new paper boy.
Hello there, Kyle. You look nice today.
Here's your paper. What are you doing here? Beat it, nerd.
Would you like to come inside for a cupcake and a glass of wine?
Shut up, old man.
What's going on in my pants? We got 6 more weeks of winter.
Carol doesn't just steal Chris's favorite customer, he starts bullying him as well. Herbert, being the opposite of a trusted adult, has just the thing to break up this fight.
Boys, we can settle this like teenagers. Whoever can swallow the most Tylenol PM wins.
You know, sometimes I wonder just how frail this old man actually is. I mean, just look at what he gets up to when he's hopped up on meth.
Pedal faster! I can't go any faster!
Hey, I just want to talk to you. Why don't you come over to my place for a couple of fruit pies and then we can go in the back room and play Crazy Snake?
Yeah, he chases a lot of children around, even when he's not on meth. Like the time Stewie and Brian messed with the timeline and everything started going in reverse.
Seems like reverse time did that kid a favor.
I'm not so sure about that.
Stand up! You're gonna break that thermometer!
Pretty wild how this man literally chases down children, but everyone in the neighborhood just lets it slide. Although sometimes he doesn't chase down the kids, he just lets them come to him.
YMCA, YMCA.
Sometimes Herbert gets tired of trying to trick Chris into inappropriate situations and just kind of throws caution to the wind. Lets it all hang out, literally. In the episode April and Quahog, everyone gets fooled into thinking the world is ending, so Herbert decides he's done with the games.
Seems like I've run out of waiting time.
Hold on a second, I'm gonna go bleach my retinas. Herbert might target children, which is already messed up, but then he's also really freaky with it, too.
If I gave you a sandwich, do you think you could get Chris to fart on it?
I'm gonna be real, I had to take a break after that scene. Just needed a quick breather. A reminder that not everyone is like this. Speaking of breathing, look at what Herbert does with Chris's hat.
God, let me just sniff his hat. That's all I want. I want more.
If you think that bit of perversion was out in the open, then you don't know how much of an unashamed menace this guy truly is. He's out here holding signs like this at a baseball game. Okay, so they pull off a bunch of, let's say, risky jokes on the show, but I don't even know what the writers were on when they wrote this one.
Whoa, easy there, Spencer. Behave yourself and there'll be a withered carrot for you later.
I think you get the gist by now. Herbert is, in fact, a pervert. But I got one more thing to show you to really just illustrate truly how much of a creep this guy is. That thing being his alphabetized collection of CP. Remember that episode where Chris stayed at Herbert's house? Well, at some point, he wanted to watch a movie. That's when he stumbled upon a bunch of tapes that definitely weren't movies.
I've never even heard of most of these. Mikey's scoliosis exam? Somersault compilation?
I assume you heard of the alphabet. Explain to me how Sammy Popsicle comes before napping various.
I counted about 69 tapes in that room, of course. Each one clearly being an incident of indecent interactions with a minor. But hey, at least one of them is a movie.
I've heard of that one.
Those are different Lost Boys.
Oh, I stand corrected. We're just gonna add all 69 of those tapes as individual counts, taking Herbert's already insane lead all the way up to 92. No wonder he told Chris to do this if he dies.
They might find some things, strange things, that don't make sense to you. There's gonna be a lot of nasty talk.
I don't know what that means.
If I die, you gotta burn my house down.
Yeah, big shocker. We got a winner, folks. Herbert maintains his title as the biggest menace to children everywhere. And if you think for 1 second that these are the worst things a character is capable of, then you need to click the link on screen and check out one of these characters. See if they're anywhere near as despicable.